Hey everybody, Mr. Gray here. I hope you're all doing well and practicing a lot. Today, we're going to talk about something that we all have to do, something that we've all done, something that we've all stressed over, and maybe even cried over. Today, we're going to talk about auditions. So, what are auditions? Why do we do them? What do you do in an audition? And what should you do in an audition? I'll answer these and other questions in this video. Let's start with what are auditions? Auditions are a way for you to show and for others to evaluate what you have learned. You should be better with each audition because you should be learning between them. You are most likely doing auditions at the beginning or end of semesters, so you probably go through 2 auditions a year minimum. Auditions are how you join bands or other ensembles or groups. This may be for your school's band program, or it may be for honor bands or other opportunities. So why do we do auditions? As just mentioned, you're probably doing an audition for placement in a band or ensemble, but we do auditions for many more reasons than that. The directors want to see how the students are progressing and growing in their skills. Auditions reveal a lot about student performance and practice. This helps the director know what to plan for and what to work on. Sometimes auditions are for grades. You may be doing an audition for a scholarship. You want to get as much money as you can. In this video, I'm mainly discussing points to help with auditions for honor bands or auditions outside of school, but all of the information is still viable and can help with any audition you might be doing. Hopefully, the tips in this video will help you have better audition habits and techniques. Now let's talk about the audition process. I'm actually going to discuss this section in reverse. I'm going to start with the actual audition and work backwards to what you can start doing now. Let's start with the audition room. Here's what to expect and what to do or what not to do in the audition room. The judges will be watching and listening from the time you walk in the door. This isn't meant to intimidate anyone. In many circumstances, the judges are told not to talk to the person auditioning. As you walk into the room, realize that this is your first impression. Before you play a note or say a word, how you walk in and what you do is leaving an impression on the judges in the room. Make sure you walk in with confidence. Don't be arrogant, but promote an air of confidence, like you've been there before. You know what you're doing. This is just another day, even if you have to fake it. Dress to impress. Be mindful of what you are wearing to the audition. Some auditions are more casual than others, but wear appropriate clothing. Your directors may require that you wear a certain outfit. I'm going to give you a general idea that should keep you safe no matter what level of audition you are doing. Guys, wear khaki pants or dress pants with dress socks and dress shoes. It may seem small, but this attention to detail makes you look more professional and gives off a better first impression. Wear a button-up shirt or a polo. I would lean more towards a button-up shirt. Ties and jackets are optional. Some people can find them restricting and hard to play in, but others don't mind them. Be careful that whatever you wear is not distracting. You want your playing to set you apart from everyone else, not your style. So think about if you do wear a tie, then you don't want to wear the brightest, showiest tie you may have. Stripes are a good thing, or a solid color is a good thing, something that is pretty tame. Don't wear shorts. Don't wear clothes with holes in them. Don't wear t-shirts, flip-flops, or hats. It should go without saying, but don't wear clothes with slogans or brands or images on them, especially that would not be considered school appropriate. Ladies, you may wear slacks, a dress, or a skirt. Make sure that the dress or skirt falls below the knees when sitting, otherwise add tights or leggings. A good rule of thumb is to review what is school appropriate. When wearing slacks or a skirt, wear a nice blouse or top with it. No t-shirts or spaghetti strap. Since I'm not a girl, I would refer you to any of your female directors or teachers for more specific instruction on what to wear or not to wear. Do be careful with jewelry. It's okay to wear, but don't let it be a distraction for you or the judges, similar to the guys with the ties. You have about 5 minutes to make your impression and show the judges what you've got. So be careful about what you say in the audition room. A good practice would be to talk as little as possible. When you walk in, you may greet the judges by saying, "Good morning" or "Good afternoon." Don't be surprised or upset if you don't get a response. As mentioned earlier, sometimes judges are told not to say anything to the person auditioning. Don't greet them with "sup" or say things like, "This is going to be bad." If you do that, this puts a bias in the judge's ear, and that's what they're going to hear. It's a good idea to ask to play a few notes before you start your audition. The judges should be fine with this. This serves a couple of purposes. It helps you get used to the sound of the room. It helps you keep your chops fresh if it's been a few minutes since you played in the warm-up room, and it helps ease any nerves you may have. Don't forget to empty your spit. While playing, don't say anything. They're listening to you play, so anything you say may distract you or the judges. After you're done playing, thank the judges with a simple "thank you for your time" and a smile. Then head out of the room. Don't huff or say, "uh-oh." Don't apologize or try to make excuses or say that sucked. And it should go without saying, but don't curse. Before you go to the audition room, you'll be spending time in a warm-up room or space. What should you do and expect in the warm-up room? More than likely, there will be several people in the warm-up room with you. This also means there's going to be a lot of noise. I've known people to bring earplugs or headphones in the warm-up room with them just to try and cut out on all of the noise. The warm-up room is where you get down to business. You have a very important audition coming up, so you want to make sure you are physically, mentally, and emotionally prepared. You may see your friends in the practice room, but I would suggest you wait to socialize until after your audition. Don't be rude or anything. You can speak or wave, but politely tell them that you need to warm up and get ready, but you'll catch up with them later. They'll understand this. I hate to say it, but there are even people out there at higher levels of auditions that will even try to psych people out in the warm-up room by playing high or fast, or by talking to people to make them nervous or to waste their time. It's sad, but those people are out there. So take care of yourself and make sure you do what you need to do to stay focused on the goal. Once you've found a spot in the warm-up room that you like, go ahead and get your music and horn out. Then go about your normal warm-up routine. Don't do anything you don't normally do. This could mess you up physically where you can't play due to not warming up properly or due to overplaying. It could also mess you up mentally and send your brain into panic mode because it's not used to what's going on. Help yourself out by making today as close to normal as possible. In the warm-up room, during my warm-up, I would play for about 5 minutes, take a couple minutes off the horn, play 5 more minutes, take a couple more minutes off, and so on. This helps you keep from playing too much, basically. If you just sit there and start playing, you'll go into autopilot and you'll keep playing and playing until you play too much and you're eventually shot. Limit yourself so you don't play too much. I would do this on and off approach throughout my entire time in the warm-up room. Maybe use the off time to go check on the audition room and see if they're ahead, behind, or on schedule. Also use this time to empty your bladder, even if you don't think you need to. After warming up, hit a few spots in your audition music just so it's not stale when you get in the audition room. This isn't the time to put finishing touches on anything or to change how you play something. That time was a few weeks ago. Now, you just want to make sure your brain, hands, fingers, and body know what to do and can do it. Maybe double check a part that's more difficult, but don't fret or freak out if it's not working right now. Slow it down, play it a few times slow just to get it back under your fingers, and then move on. You might want to play something that you know you play well just to help boost your self-esteem. Would you look at what time it is? It's almost time for my audition. Close your case and make sure you have all of your stuff together for the audition. I wouldn't put my instrument up if it were me, just because it takes time to get it back out in the audition room, and you're already crunched for time to begin with. If someone came with you to the audition, you may want to leave your case with them so nothing happens to it while you're in the audition. Maybe grab a sip of water or make another quick trip to the restroom on your way to the audition. Now let's talk about what you should do before you ever open the case the day of the audition. Most places have you register or sign in before you audition. Make sure you get all of the material. This may include additional judge forms, judge cards, name tags, or other items. After you've signed in, go for a short walk around the building so you can find where you are auditioning. Some auditions may require 2 rooms, so make note of where they are. Double check any timesheets so you know when your audition is, and make sure you give yourself plenty of time to warm up and make it to the audition room. Keep in mind that no audition stays perfectly to schedule. Some run behind, some run ahead. Keep tabs on what's going on in the audition line so you know how far they are from your slot. Lastly, before opening your case and blowing your first notes, find somewhere where you can calm yourself down, gather yourself so you can mentally prepare. This may be in the warm-up room, it may be in your vehicle, or somewhere else in the building. When should you wake up? How should you manage your time from the time you wake up on audition day? There are studies out there that say after waking up, your body needs 3 to 4 hours to be in optimal playing condition. Your blood and muscles are awake and running like normal by this point. Also, any swelling that happens in the face or lips goes down after this time. So if you have a morning audition, you can use this information to your advantage. If you have an audition at 11:30 a.m., you'll want about an hour to warm up and maybe another 30 minutes to make sure you register or sign in when you first get there. So you'll want to be at your audition location by 10 a.m. Keeping in mind what we just mentioned about when to wake up, you'll probably want to be awake by 7 a.m. I know it's early. Be sure to factor in travel time if applicable. Eat breakfast the morning of your audition, even if you don't normally eat breakfast. If you don't normally eat breakfast, don't eat anything heavy or a bunch of food because that could cause problems later. Eat a small breakfast, just enough to have something in your stomach and to kickstart your metabolism. Having food in your stomach will help you have energy for your audition. This is especially important if you have an audition close to noon because your stomach will be wanting food and this might affect how you think or act. So eat and drink something, even if it's just a yogurt, a piece of fruit, or some cereal. Since we're on the subject of eating and drinking, be careful about caffeinated beverages. Caffeine can affect your brain and body as much or more than hunger. If you don't normally drink coffee, today may not be the day you want to start. In the end, you know your body and what your habits are. Don't do something that will shock your body today. You need everything to run as smoothly as possible. You may ask yourself, the day before the audition, what should I be doing? Well, you need to make sure that you have everything you'll need for your audition in one spot so you can grab it all at the same time before you leave. Check, double check, triple check, quadruple check to make sure you have all the copies you'll need or any forms you might need or any money for fees, etc. The day before an audition, you don't want to play too much. Just do a normal warm-up that you do every day, play through your scales, run your audition piece once or twice, practice a piece or so of sight reading, and put the horn up. That's it. Make yourself put the instrument up so you don't play too much and hurt yourself or psych yourself out. If you play too much, you might get frustrated with something, and that might pop up again tomorrow at the audition. Be sure to lay your clothes out or pack your clothes if you're traveling. Drink lots of water, eat good meals, and go to bed at a decent hour. That's really it. You don't want to exert yourself too much the day before an audition. Relaxing the day before can help you mentally prepare as well as physically prepare. The week before. What should you be doing a week before the audition? By this point, you should be feeling comfortable with your preparation of your audition music. Use this time to put the finishing touches on your music, bump up the tempo if you need, and shed any difficult passages. You've been practicing for a while now, possibly weeks or months already, so the week before your audition, you should be running your audition material from top to bottom. Make sure you know what the requirements of the audition are so you practice the right stuff. Double check the required scales, and after warming up each day, try to play your entire audition in one take. Also, try doing mock auditions for your parents, your siblings, your directors, friends, or anyone who will listen. This is the time to be making plans for audition day. Maybe plan out what you're going to wear so you have time to wash it. Mentally go through what all happens on the day of the audition. Where will you be auditioning? Do you have to sign in? Where will you warm up? Basically, anything we've already talked about in this video, you already need to be going through in your head a week before the audition. You may be asking yourself, how should I be practicing for the upcoming audition? Or how much should I be practicing? In preparation for your audition, you should develop a routine and stick to it. Carve out the time in your daily schedule to practice, even a little bit, every day. Have yourself a good warm-up and move on to your audition music. When you practice your audition music, don't spend a lot of time practicing what you can already play. You've got that. You can do that. Work on the parts you can't play well. Practice slowly and with a metronome. Once you feel comfortable playing a passage at a slower tempo, bump it up a notch or so. Be careful not to go too fast and develop bad habits or learn something wrong. Practice in chunks or smaller passages. Work on 4, 8, 12, or 16 measures at a time until you can play each of them correctly and consistently. That's an important word there, consistently. When you have the sections under your fingers, start putting them together until you have the whole piece together. Listen to recordings of professionals performing what you're working on. You may hear something you've been doing wrong or that you like better than what you're doing. Try to emulate that. If you can't find a recording, ask a director to help you. You may also want to take private lessons. Lessons instructors can give you a lot of one-on-one help that is specialized to what you need. They know your instrument and the music well and can give you specific instruction on how to improve. You should be practicing sight reading too. This is a lot easier than it sounds. You can find literally any piece of music and read it down. You can play it under tempo while you're getting used to the sight reading process, but you need to be practicing sight reading as much as you practice everything else. Make sure you practice your scales. Don't sweep them under the rug. Don't push them to the side. Think you're going to come back to them later, because chances are you won't. Practice the scales. Develop that into part of a warm-up or as part of your practice routine. You need to be practicing scales. They are very important. A few items you always need when you practice your instrument: mouthpiece or reeds, your instrument, any oils, creams, or grease that you might need, music that you're working on, scale sheets, metronomes or tuners. I'll include some apps that I like to use in a moment. You'll need a recording device, most likely your phone, and the most important item that you need when you practice, even more important than your instrument, a pencil. Some apps that I use for metronomes and tuners are Sound Corset and Tonal Energy. Tonal Energy is a great app and has lots of useful features such as a tuner, a metronome, sound analysis, and tone playback, but it does cost a couple bucks. Sound Corset is a free app that has some useful features as well, just not as many. Sound Corset also has a tuner and a metronome, but also has a transposition function that may benefit transposing instruments like clarinets, trumpets, horns, or saxes. There are many other good apps out there, but these are just two that I prefer to use in my own daily practice or teaching. Now I'll address some frequently asked questions about auditions. Question number 1, when should you start auditioning? In short, the answer is now. The earlier you start auditioning, the better you get at it. There is an art and a science to auditioning, and the more you do it, the more you figure out how to be more successful. Auditioning is as much mental and psychological as it is physical and musical. There are middle school clinics that would be beneficial if you're a middle school student. Just ask your director about some of them and how to get chosen for them. Once you hit high school, you'll be doing at least 2 auditions a year, 1 per semester, but I would encourage doing more. There are local and regional honor bands, state honor bands, national honor bands and competitions, and international bands and competitions you can look at auditioning for. Now, you don't want to show up for an audition unprepared, but the more auditions you can do, the less nervous you'll be and the better you will become. Another question people have about auditions: what should I audition for? Everything. It's good to gain experience just by doing an audition. Again, don't show up unprepared or waste someone's time. Put in the work and actually prepare for it. Don't show up and distract others around you or waste their time by not giving it your all. There are lots of honor bands and ensemble opportunities that are done by audition, so get all that information and begin working on the required materials as soon as you can. If you are new to auditioning, you may be asking, what will I be judged on? Let's talk briefly about some judging criteria that you may find on judges' sheets. Tone. Do you have a good, characteristic sound on your instrument? Intonation. Are you playing right notes? Are you in tune? Technique. Can you meet the physical demands of the piece? How is your posture, your breath control, your articulation, your dexterity? Basically, how are your musical skills? Rhythm. Are you playing right rhythms? It's as easy as that. Sometimes wrong notes can be covered up by right rhythms, so rhythm is very important. Musicianship. Do you play musically? Are you paying attention to dynamics, articulations, etc.? Is it interesting? Scales and chromatic. This shows your attention to detail. Do you practice other stuff and save scales for last? Scales are considered a control, like in a science class. You have your controlled substance to measure how much variance there is compared to another substance. That's what scales are in auditions. They should be easy, yet most people overlook them. You might be judged on a prepared piece. This is something that everyone plays for an audition. It's like a control, just like the scales are. The judges are listening to how well you have prepared the same piece of music that everyone else is playing. Sight reading. This is music that you've never seen before. Sight reading tests your reading skills to see how you can react and adapt on the fly. The more you sight read, the better you will get. And last but not least, you may be judged on preparedness, especially at your own school's audition. Basically, are you prepared? Can the judge tell that you practiced or put in effort to learning the audition material? How do I find out about audition opportunities? The best thing to do is talk to your director and ask them about clinics or audition opportunities. Pay attention to dates and times your director mentions in class and write them down or put them in your phone. You can also Google honor bands in your area, your state, or region and find a lot of information that way. Several colleges or universities have honor bands or other ensembles or groups that you can attend and audition for. Who can help me find material for my audition? Your band director is the best person to ask for this. They will have lots of materials or can find you materials appropriate for your audition. You can also ask people who have already done the same audition you're going to do. They may have the material they use for their audition still lying around. If you take private lessons, check with your lessons instructor for materials. Here's an important note though. Make sure that the material matches the criteria asked for in the audition. Some auditions require a specific piece of music or rotate a piece of music every couple of years, so just playing anything you find won't work. Who can help me with my audition? Again, your band director is the go-to person here. They would be happy to help you with your audition because it is helping you get better, which also improves the band. You may also seek out private instructors in your area. Your director will have a list of instructors you could contact for lessons. So let's review some of what we've talked about in this video. Talk with your director about audition opportunities and materials. Once you have all that, you can start practicing. Get help with your audition materials. Have your director or another band member listen to you and give you honest feedback. Practice again. Make sure you are practicing effectively. Look at my handout on how to practice for more information on how to get the most out of your practice sessions. You can also check out my video on brass warm-ups and troubleshooting. Even if you're a woodwind or percussion, it may give you some helpful tips. Closer to the date of audition, try to do some mock auditions for your parents, friends, teachers, directors, or anyone else who will listen to you. Double check all of the information for the audition and make sure you have everything you need and have done everything beforehand that was supposed to be done, such as sending in forms or payments, doing any types of recording, registering online, or etc. Have all of your dates and times written down or noted somewhere where you can access them. The day before your audition, stay hydrated. Don't eat something that might make you sick. Get plenty of rest and go about your day as normal as you can. And the day of, do your thing. Wake up at a good time, eat a good breakfast, drink lots of water, find somewhere quiet where you can mentally get ready. Be confident, even if you have to fake it. As the saying goes, fake it till you make it. All right, it's time for another joke of the day from Mr. Gray. What type of music are balloons afraid of? Pop music. And that's it for this video. I know it's a lot of material to cover in a short amount of time, but I hope it helps you in getting ready for your next audition and your next, and your next, and well, you get it. Good luck and see you later.